Yes, sir. May now start, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to everybody. Myself, Dr. Nirmala Pawar, Department of Zoology, Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karad. On 4th day of online 1 week faculty development program on the research methodology and data analysis, jointly organized by the Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karad and HRDC, Pune. Uh, Honorable Principal Rajmani sir, Coordinator A.K. Patil sir, and all dear participants. It's my pleasure to introduce the today's speaker or chief guest of this session is Professor Dr. Vasant Zugde sir. He was former Professor of Economics and Director of Yeshwantrao Chavan School of Rural Development and Director. Excuse me, madam. He was he has a working as a teacher, 39 years. He has occasionally visiting to the various nations like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and Ghana for the academic purpose. He is the chief editor of the two international journals published through series publication. He has an honor of receiving that is the prestigious UGC award. He has contributed his ability to various committees and working groups. He was former member of the Government Council of NADBRD's Banker Institute of Rural Development, Lucknow during the year 2005 to 7 and 2007 to 9. Governing council member of this that is the NABRD. He is the former president of the Center for Social Studies and Research, Sangli. He has credit of completing 14 research projects funded by the various institutes. He has he has credit of guiding 25 PhD student and 40 MPhil research work. He has provided the consultancy services to the various organizations. He is also member of board of director Athani Sugar Institute. He is also life member of the various national and international agencies. This huge data, I can't express in a single or few minutes. Such a eminent personality is present in among us. So I kindly request to Dr. Zugde sir, please share your screen here and deliver your valuable talk.
Thank you.
Please,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you very much for
Welcome, sir.
a brief introduction to me. Hello.
हाँ सर बोला सर. Hello.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on the second lecture of my on research ethics. Earlier we discussed some of the issues related to research. Now today we are going to discuss some of the very important issues related to research ethics. In most of the universities and the institutions, the research ethics has not been taught to the research students. Consequently, so many research consequences occurs, either in publication or in referring the thesis, or the university mechanism to deal with plagiarism. All such things occurs in research etiquettes. After signing on the WTO, the intellectual property right, India is one of the signatory on that. And with that, we are expected to follow the same suit all over the world. There should not be any differentiation in the research etiquettes or the ethics that we are dealing with. Now, in this perspective, let us see what do we mean by, research ethics. research ethics or it is the research morals. It is a codified, language or the words which are being used in our thesis. It is a quest for accuracy, adequacy, and relevant knowledge is to be used freely in our research, because right to research is one of the fundamental issue in the researchers. A student who is highly learned person, specialized in various subjects and dealing with some of the very important policy activities, he is expected to have a relevant knowledge. Adequate and accuracy is one of the very essential condition of the research ethics. There is academic freedom, originality and openness and trustworthiness are the important features of our research. Similarly, we regulate the research community. We bring integrity, accountability, impartiality, and even the criticism. The criticism made by others or the criticism we level against the others. Similarly, relationship to people to take part in the research. Those who are involved in our research activities, including the sample families or the sample persons, they should be properly respected. Even when your referencing is being made in our text or some of the persons name is included in our text, so the respect should be given to them with their work and proper citation or saying some words about them in notes or footnotes. Similarly, the relationship to the rest of the society. Since we are the social scientists who are working for the society, we should be able to held responsible for the society as a whole. The conflict of interest should not harm. The social responsibility should not be depleted. Dissemination of research is to be followed. And in this perspective, a researcher is independent or a member of a research team, and he should follow the team morals or the individual morals that he has been taught in the university system. Now, why this research ethics is very important? Because you will see in good old days, there was a Belmont report. Basically, it applies to the medical sciences because medical people were using so many animals for their experiments. And as a result, there was some insulting forces that may come up in the system. And that is why the Belmont report says that there should be proper use of the animals, dissections, and even the proper things should be properly identified and there should be some respect to them. Similarly, after that, the Declaration of Helsinki gives you so many details about the ethics. Similarly, in social sciences also, almost all countries of the world, they have developed some of the moral, ethical or principles to be followed by a researcher or the research student. And the one of the work which is being done by Alok Srivastava, I quote here, the guidelines for ethical considerations in social research and evaluation in India. It is being published by Center for Media Studies Institutional Review Board in 2020. So this is a very good booklet which gives you almost all details of the etiquettes of the research ethics. So anybody can download it from the website and go through it. What are the general principles of ethics? Research is the birthright. Anybody can, even those who are not qualified for that, they can also make research. But their registration and all other etiquettes, all other administrative system should go through the institutional system. Basically, we can undertake any kind of research, and this is in fact a right of the researchers, particularly those who are learned, highly learned and specialized in some of the specialized areas, they are to conduct some of the research work. And that is why the professors who are engaged in colleges and the universities, they are to work for the research also, because they help in policy making activities. Because they are the only learned person in the society. The society people cannot, even if they can go for research, there is no restriction on that. But these people, professors, are the highly learned persons in the society. They always remain one step ahead than the society, because they are the teachers. They are teachers, not only the students teachers, they are the teachers of the society as a whole, and they are the policy makers. So in that perspective, research should have some applicable part or the applicable value in their work. It should promote and safeguard the interest of the society, interest of the researcher, interest of the institutions in which they are working, and the country where they are working. The code of conduct, the code of ethical conduct, the monitoring system, all these things are to be developed in the monitoring institution. The causes, development, and the effects and the scope of the research is to be determined. What are the reasons of why you are conducting the research? What is the development that is being taking place through your research? Is there any effect and the scope determined by your research work? So that should be properly generalized. Human respect. Since we are working for the society, since we are working for the humanities, so we must respect the human. Any person who is involved in our research activities, he should be properly respected, and respect should be given. And it is the general etiquette that the researcher should express through his acknowledgement, through his forward, preface, or footnote, end notes. Respect should be given them. Research is a kind of new knowledge, and this new knowledge is an addition in the literature. So in that perspective, the value of your research or the value of your research thesis or the article, it is being adjudged by the expertise, and the corresponding generations of the researchers, they will be using your references as a new knowledge that was developed. And in addition to that, anything which is established, that can be challenged, that can be criticized, that new things can be introduced, the old system can be replaced. So this go on, this is a routine corresponding research activities. It is being done through generation to generations. Protects the dignity, integrity, a right to self-determination, privacy, and confidentiality, personal information also. So all these things should be particularly in the social sciences. The ethics or principles may be different in biological sciences, in natural sciences, but in social sciences, dignity, integrity, and even the privacy is also being taken into account. When we are filing, the questionnaires, and the name of the respondent is being given in the front page of the questionnaire, but that cannot be disclosed. Somebody may not be interested in disclosing their names, so that privacy is to be maintained properly when you are going for the field studies. Consider the ethics, legal, regulatory norms, because take for example intellectual property rights. Copyright Act should be acknowledged. Every researcher must know the Copyright Act. Every person should know the plagiarism, which is a very important mistake that the researcher can do or make in the process of research. Citations. Citation should be properly. There are so many citation methods. Which citation method is to be followed for a particular subject? Either it is an institution. For example, Harvard University has its own system for Harvard Journal. So there are some system they have developed, and those systems is to be followed through institutional mechanism. And that is why earlier I told you that most of the universities do not have such type of monitoring mechanism So henceforth, universities should develop the monitoring committee or the such type of etiquettes has to be taught to the researchers. Similarly, it minimizes the possible harm to the environment. So whatever you go on writing your conclusions or decisions or the recommendations, suggestions, etc., the environmental disasters should be minimized. There should not be any harm to the environment, ecology, all these things. Ethics education and training is very important. The teachers, even teachers has to be taught because they are the good researchers. Particularly university professors are ought to create a knowledge. They are not only imparting the knowledge, but they are creating the knowledge. And when you are creating the knowledge, so some sort of education and training to the pupils or the students, research students, it is to be taught to them. Particularly how to follow the originality, how to create a creativity. All these things are very essential, and they should be properly developed through institutional mechanism. No discrimination of researchers and research participants on the basis of gender or social group. There should not be any discrimination, male, female, no discrimination, or any social groups, whether you are, for example, vulnerable group. There should not be any type of abuse to the vulnerable group, because social group is to be, there should be properly treated and properly they should be respected, and there should not be any harm to the society as a whole. No minor below 18 years should be the member of your research team. Similarly, the appropriate access to participation in research is very important. Access to participation, anybody can, do it. Anybody can get involved in that particular research team. So in this perspective, as a social scientist who is working for the social sciences and the humanities, he should properly know the general principles of ethics. Similarly, it's part, for example, Copyright Act, or for example, the type of plagiarism that the researcher is being followed, or the testing of the plagiarism. There are so many softwares which are available in the market freely, or even priced softwares are also available. For example, the highest costly plagiarism tool is Authenticate and Turnitin. These are the very costly, but they are very widespread, references are being taken into account. All these principles ought to be followed by a researcher. Particularly, a researcher should be taught the Copyright Act. Either it is a Indian Copyright Act or the Worldwide Copyright Act or the Intellectual Property Right. That is why it is one of the essential condition that the students and teachers must know these etiquettes, so that they will follow a general, ethics in their respective researches. Now, what are the main themes? As a researcher, one must know the citation, how to draw the citations, how to draw the citation index, what do we mean by digital object in identifier, DOI, how references are being made, how bibliography is to be written, how referencing style are to be followed. Many I have seen, even the supervisors who are guiding the students, they do not know the difference between the references and the bibliography. All these things are the pitiable things which are being followed in the research activities. All these things should be properly followed. Let us see some of the component of citation. What do we mean by citation? Citation is a way of giving credit to the individuals, those who have worked on different issues, and those works are being used in your, research. So it is the credit, respect given to that individuals or the institutions for their creative and intellectual work, because they have worked on that. They have spent their, some time of their life, and they have contributed to the society and the literature as a whole. And you are using those references, or you are utilizing in support of our research, in support of your research, then it is a respect to them. We quote, we cite the persons, group, institution, either it is in books form or journal form or report form or thesis form, any type of. So that should be properly cited, and it is a respect to those authors. So that we call it as the citation. What are the citation cycles? Particularly citation, it is a location. You are giving the location where it is available, in what year it is published, what is the name of the book, what is the name of the article, who has published it, in which journal it is published, what is the page number. So all these references are being given so that you can locate the particular sources. It can also be used to locate the particular sources and combat plagiarism. So that combats plagiarism, it cannot be reduced, because the Indian system is basically different. We are not educating our students for our creativity and the originality. Now the recent education policy, it has given credit to the creativity and the originality. Let us see after 25 years or the 30 years, when the generation comes into the university system, definitely they might have some originality and the creativity, because they have been taught from the childhood. Let us wait for 25 years, next 25 years, so that how we can combat the plagiarism, we will see it. But it is not, it can be reduced. When you are citing, when you are quoting, when you are putting the references, so it means that you are giving respect to them. There are so many types. When you are quoting the references, it should be in the into inverted comma. The references should include the page number. If there is a no into inverted comma, it means that there is a plagiarism. So there are so many rules and regulations determined by the plagiarism, and those things are properly been identified by the researchers. For example, you are citing more than 40 words. Suppose that you are citing others' work more than 40 words, and it should be in the indent form. It should be in the indent form. So many things are being properly, understood by the researchers. Where to make the paragraph, whether the sub-theme, subtitle, the first word should be capital or all words should be capital. So all these things you should be taught by the supervisors. Supervisors must know all these things. When you are quoting that there is a sub-theme, under that there are sub-themes. There are so many sub-themes. Then how to put them? It should be in the italic form. So it means that italic, when the italic forms comes, it means that it is a part of one of the main subtitle or the main title. So all these things are the internationally developed, norms and etiquettes in the research activities. By right click, you should the references should be available. For example, you are citing some www, HYTTP, and
Hello, sir. Hello. So you are not audible. Hello. Patil, sir.
Yes, sir. I will contact you, sir. Please mute your mic. Some people are around you are speaking. Huh? Hello.
hello, can you listen to me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, yes.
Yeah, okay. Now citation style, basically we can combat the plagiarism through by citation, and it is a respect to the persons who are involved in the research activities. Similarly, you can see the digital object identifier. This is a, nowadays the technology has grown up like anything. Earlier we were using Vancouver system in our research work. My PhD thesis is referencing the Vancouver system. For example, off-cited or EBID form, footnote. So many things we were following in our old days. But now there are different formation, and this is one of the DOI. This is one of the typical referencing system, that a citation can include the author's name, date, location of the publication, company, journal, title, and even the DOI. DOI identifier means whole link is given to the references. When link is given, so it means that the proper referencing is, you can look into those things. For example, suppose you are referencing one of the Niti Aayog report, and then you can give a link by right clicking, the whole references may appear on the website. So this is how the digital object identifier is also very useful for the researchers. There are so many citation styles. It dictates the information necessary for a citation system, because I find I see that there are so many styles are used in one pages. In one pages you will see Vancouver system is used. In one pages you will see Harvard system. In one page APA system. In one page Tuberian system. So many Chicago system is used. So there is a mixture of so many references. So this should not be followed. It is not allowed in the international arena. Even the institution or the university should develop the mechanism. There should be a proper mechanism to supervise the whole system. Even the supervisors, if they are ignorant of all these things, they should be properly educated by the institution. A supervision means what? What etiquettes you have to follow, how citation system is to be developed, and even you will see how to write abstract, how to write conclusions, how to test the hypothesis. All these things are the research methodological issues. But even the punctuations also, comma, semicolon, colon, so many things. So all these things to be properly used in our research system, because it is a writing and it is being used by so many people if it is being published. And that is why in most of the university system, the university says that once your TA PhD degree is awarded, it should be published, because publication is required, because knowledge cannot be individual property, it should be a public property, and everybody is a right to read the references which we have made available to the society or the researchers. That should be available to the other institutions or persons. Similarly, let me explain this. Just now I talked about this references and bibliography. When you are putting the references in the text into bracket, for example, Jugle, comma 1995. It means what? The book written by Jugle on in 1995. If suppose there are two books published by me in 1995, then I must write that Jugle 1995 into bracket A, into bracket B, like this. And the whole details are endorsed in the bibliography. Because references, when you are saying references, it means that it should be quoted in the text. And what is bibliography? Bibliography is a list of references cited in your work, plus the background readings or other material that you have read, but not actually cited in your text.
Sir, sir,
huh,
please share your PPT. Is it possible?
it is shared, I think.
Not.
Just now I'll see. Is it okay?
Yes, yes, now, yes, yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Now, references are the texts. They are included in the text. And nowadays, same references, if you are quoting again and again in the same page, earlier in our old days, we were using EBID, or some references are quoted in next other pages. There we were mentioning offsite page like that. Now it is a very easy system is coming up, that is into surname of the author, comma, put a comma and the year of publication, and if there are two publications in 1 year, you can write A, B, or if three, then C, like this. And even suppose when you are quoting the references into inverted comma is being put there, then page number is essential. When you are putting the into inverted comma, page number is compulsory, because from that page number onwards, that reference has been collected. So bibliography is a collection. It is so many reading materials. Even it includes notes, appendices, even all other material that you have used in your research. So bibliography, the exhaustive list of the references and the other reading materials which are being quoted. References, it means that should be quoted in the text only, and text should contain all these things. Similarly, then how do I choose a citation style? Of course, it depends upon the university. University should say that we are in social sciences, APA system should be followed. In languages, MLA system should be followed. In medical sciences, Tuverian or Chicago system should be followed. So university mechanism should specify the faculty-wise norms, and they should be developed it properly. For example, there are so many. Near about I have seen 27, 30 citation styles are there. But basically, in social sciences, APA system is very, very popular. APA means American Psychological Association. They have developed this idea, and it is being used in all, even sciences also, commerce, management also, they are using the same thing. In modern languages and humanities, MLA system is used. Chicago University follows the Chicago system, or it is also known as Turabian style. It is generally used by business people and the history people and fine art people. For example, drawing and sketches like that. Vancouver system is sequentially used in the text, either bracketed or superscribed, 1, 2, 3 like this. So that is the system that is being used even today also. Harvard University has its own system. If you click on the Harvard Journal, you will get all the details because they are expecting, if you are want to publish an article in the Harvard Journal, then Harvard citation style is to be used. I will not go through the MLA, Chicago, Tuverian, Vancouver system and Harvard system because it may take another couple of minutes. Only I will focus on APA system, because that is one of the very important citation style that is being used in social sciences. APA system, it is introduced in 1929. This style calls for three kinds of information included in the in-text citations. In-text citation. What is this? Author's last name, work's date of publication, page number appears only in a citation to direct quotation. Page number should be, if there is a direct quotation into inverted comma, then you can have page numbers. For example, Crockett, comma 1995. PP means page number 45. So like this citation, these citations are included in the text. All other details, who was this Crockett, what is his initial name, what is the book title, who has published it, and then all the other details where are essential. So they can be quoted at the bibliography or in the last end chapter. Now you will see there are so many styles. For example, a book in print, a printed book, if you want to quote it, how it should be quoted. A book chapter, print version, how it should be quoted. If it is an e-book, how it should be quoted. An article in a print journal, an article in a journal without DOI. Similarly, you will see an article in a journal with DOI. Websites, professionals or personal sites. websites online, government publications, emails, because through email also we get some references, cited in text only, mailing lists, radio and TV, some episodes if you want to quote, radio and TV episodes, film clips, film, photographs, artwork, artwork from website. So all these things are systematically given by APA system. Let us see one by one. If it is a print book, then what is there? The last name, surname, his initial C into bracket 1997. What is the title? There is a full point. Then race equality in healthcare and education. You see, you look at that. Only R is capital. All other things are in the second, form of letters. Now you will see in most of the cases also, we also have made the same mistake. Now we are becoming perfect after learning so many things. Race, one single capital. There should not be equality, health, care, education. There should not be capital words. They should be in the small words. Then full point again. Philadelphia, that is the publisher's name. It is a name of the publishers. So like this, you can quote it in the bibliography. If suppose it is a chapter published in a book, so whose article? Hebron, DM, 2008. What is the title? Philosophy and Science of Subjective Well-being. Where it is published? In, they are the editors. Amid, R.J. Larson, they are the editors. And what is the title of the book? The Science of Subjective Well-being. What is the page number of that article? 17 to 43. New York. So like this, which press? Guilford. So like this, if it is a chapter published in a book, and if you are quoting those things, then it should be written like this. If it is an e-book, then we should follow the same thing along with the site from where it is being taken. Nowadays, some of the referees are asking for retrieved from dash 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 on at date. Date should be mentioned, and even time should be mentioned. At what time you have retrieved it. So only putting the website and the link is not enough, because the date of referencing or using that link should be mentioned, and even time is to be mentioned in the text. An article in a print journal, if suppose it is a print journal, so you may be looking at all these titles, you will see that if it is a book, the title of the book is in italic form. The title of the book is in italic form. Even similarly, if it is the book chapter published in a book, so that book's title is italic. Similarly, when you are publishing a article in one of the journal, then journal's title should be italic. You look at this, the developmental psychology. So it is italic because the article's name is not in italic. If it is a journal paper, then the journal's title should be in the italic form. Then page number, volume number, all these things comes in like this. An article in a journal without DOI, the digital identifier DOI, so it should be like this. For example, all other things are like earlier. Then when you are mentioning the name of the journal, it should be in the italic form, retrieved from the link. If suppose that link is by right clicking, if the references are not coming, so it is known as without DOI. When you click on the link, if the whole things appears, then it means that there is a with DOI. Foundation, DOI, basically you have to register it. It is a foundation, DOI foundation is there, and you have to register it and get the number from it, like ISBN or so many, ISSN numbers are, they are available. Even the DOI foundation gives you the different numbers. Then websites, professional or personal sites. So the name of the site, when it is published, and when you are retrieved, and the link. So like this, all these things should be properly given. Similarly, if it is a government publication, the department name, year and month, report, name of the report, and if it is retrieved from the website, then put the link. Then if it is an email, then the references should be put like this. The personal communication, January 5, 2008. Similarly, mailing list. If it is a mailing list mailed in a particular, references, then that we should be given like this. Radio and TV episodes from the library databases, it should be given like this. For example, a writer's name and the date. And if suppose it is a film or TV, the name of the producer. Similarly, if it is a film, then producer, director, and even writer, the whole thing should be properly quoted. If suppose you are using the photograph, from which museum, who is the original author or the painter, then its link that should be properly given. So all these things are properly be used in your sites. In many cases, you will see you just copy the photograph from one of the link and just use it for your magazine, and even college magazines also. So many people are doing like this, because using any internet data is a commitment of, it is a mistake. As per the Intellectual Property Act, it is a mistake. And even suppose when a principal of a college is publishing a proceeding of the papers, suppose one seminar was conducted and so many papers have been presented in that, and the principal or to the host principal may publish the proceedings of the papers, but there should be disclaimer. Say that the papers which are been published here, they are not properly tested by plagiarism testing techniques, and hence the authority, any responsibility of plagiarism or the combating the plagiarism rests with the author. So if you put the disclaimer like this, then principal will be safe. Otherwise, as per the Intellectual Property Act and Copyright Act, he is punishable. Then there should be proper etiquettes that should be properly followed. Either it is a proceeding or it is any things which is being published in the name of the individual or a person, that should be properly referenced. Now, just I will give you that the author Alok Srivastava, in his booklet, the last booklet, he has given some questions. I have taken the same questions. 31 questions are there. If you could able to answer these things by true or false, if you could able to answer these things true or false, then your score can be identical. So the score should be more than 15 or 16, so that more than 50% score should be there. Then only you will be able to have such type of knowledge. So knowledge testing, it is sensible testing, knowledge test, so that a person who is involved in the research activities, whether he knows all etiquettes or not, so that can be properly understood through these questions. Anybody can refer it, because it is given in the book of Alok Srivastava. He has quoted the same thing. Even the answers to these are also given in the book. You can refer it. It is a downloadable thing. Now, all these things which are important, because the university system should have a mechanism, proper mechanism. Not only the plagiarism check is enough, because one should be able to, the research committees, as per the UGC norms, every university, every college is having a research committee, and that research committee should develop the code of conduct, ethical code of conduct for the researchers. how the researcher should be, educated. He should be trained. What are the forms that the institution is accepting? Whether okay, now we got it. Now, in this perspective, one can be educated, one can be trained in that particular aspect, and the institution should have their own mechanism. If suppose university is not able to develop the mechanism, a college or the institution where the research is being conducted regularly, there they can develop the code of ethical values, and the system can be developed in that perspective. With these words, I again thank the host for giving me an opportunity to speak on some of the aspects of research methodology and the research etiquettes. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for a nice presentation. May I request to participant, please, if you have any query, you can ask.
Hello, sir.
Uh-huh.
Madam,
Yes, Prasad, sir, please ask.
Hello, sir. Sir, this is Prasad from Karnataka, sir.
Okay.
Sir, we have UGCK listed journals.
Uh,
So some of the members have listed as fake listed journals, sir. I have seen so much of messages, and they have sent mail also. So when we verified that, so that was not listed in the UGCK journal, sir. So it is very difficult.
It has no worth at all.
Yes, sir.
If suppose, as per the UGC norms, when the CAS is being, followed in some of the institutions, then there is a condition that the UGC listed journals are to be taken into account for publication and valuation. In earlier cases, UGC has, published some list, but all those lists are now abolished. Now the separate committee is working on that. I do not know whether that Patwardhan committee has submitted its report or not. But the vice president of the UGC, he is the chairman of that committee, and he is working on that. The whole committee is working on that, and I think they have prepared some list, and there is a around 400 pages list is there. So anybody who is interested to publish, then that should be taken into account, because that is the only worth for taking your score for CAS purpose.
Anybody else? Hello. Sir, there is no more question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our Nirmala Patil madam will be offered vote of thanks.
okay. Good morning, good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Dr. Pratibha. Here I am present to propose vote of thanks on behalf of organizing committee. I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Zugade sir for give your valuable time, and sir, you shared your knowledge and information in this FDP program. Sir, you share very useful knowledge about research ethics, their right, scope, and what is the citation, and how to write references, and how to write references in APA style. This is very useful information to us, sir, and young researcher. Very thankful, sir. And I would also like thanks to our principal, sir, Dr. M.M. Rajmani, sir, Vice Principal S.A. Patil, sir, and FDP coordinator Dr. A.K. Patil sir, Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karad. And also I thanks to HRDC Savitribai Phule University, Pune. Once again, I thank to all and thank to Zubair sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, one and all. I will share feedback list on the WhatsApp group, please.